So this is Ishizuka. So today I'm talking about LINE mini app, more than 10 teams across 5 countries working towards a common goal. First of all, let me introduce myself. Once again, my name is Tsuyoshi Ishizuka. I am a technical program manager at LINE. I joined LINE in 2018, and before that, I worked as a contracted development engineer and also project manager. Right now, I am working both LINE mini app and also the LINE part-time job. So before, I also worked for a LINE carrier, and my hobby is fishing. Weekend, as you can see this photo, I enjoy boat fishing, and also I am the manager of the LINE in-house fishing club. This is today's agenda. First, I'm going to talk about what is LINE mini app. Then I will talk about components and also the responsible teams, and I will share issues and also how we solved them and also the results. So let me cover the first agenda. What is LINE mini app? So LINE mini app is one of the application platform, and there are several types of application platforms. First one is from App Store or Google Play Store. You download and install the app. That is a native app. And another type is the web app, which is a web browser based app, like a web browser like a Safari and Chrome. And also the LINE mini app. And the LINE mini app is running on the LINE Messenger app, and this is the web-based application platform. So let me talk about the three characteristics of the LINE mini app. And the first one is once a LINE app is installed in a user's smartphone, you can use it right away. You don't have to install other native app other than LINE. And also to users, you can send a notification by using a LINE message. So this is the biggest difference from general apps. And also, when you add the users to the friend list of the LINE official account, then you can send a notification continuously. And also, I would like to explain some services which can be realized on the LINE mini app. And the first one is taking a place on a waiting list, and this uses number ticket system. And the second is the table order system used at the restaurant. So the user can use their own phone, and you can see the menu and place an order. And the last example is the store's digital member certificate system. These are the companies using LINE mini app. Of course, this is not all. There are many more companies using that. Supermarket and drug stores and restaurants. Some of them I think you are familiar with. And the number of the released LINE mini app I would like to talk about chronologically. The year of the release. So it was 2 years ago, November 2020. At that time, 131 LINE mini app were released, and it is growing. And the May of the 2021, 310, and the November of the 21, it goes beyond 1,000. And so July of this year, more than 5,000 mini app were released. So 5 times within the 8-month period. So very fast growth. So from now on, I'd like to talk about the component of a LINE mini app and also responsible teams. LINE mini app is not a standalone product. by combining different components offered by LINE, and it is offered as a LINE mini app platform. So the main components are LINE developers, LIFF, LINE front-end framework, LINE Messenger itself, service messages. And each component has planning, development, QA, business, and design teams. So as you can see here, already there are 16 teams.
Those teams work in different locations. In Japan, there are 3 locations: Tokyo, Kyoto, and Fukuoka. And other than that, Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, and Thailand. So there are 5 nations in Asia. Mainly, planning and development related team is in Tokyo, Kyoto, and Korea. And the development location is in Vietnam as well. And QA team is working mainly in Fukuoka. In addition to Japan, LINE mini app is offered in Thailand and Taiwan, and also business team is belonging to each one of them. As I mentioned earlier, each team is distributed in various locations, and in each country there is a different mother tongue. And as we work across countries, it has become a common sense, but we are having a meeting over Zoom. And they are in different locations, but we don't have to care much about physical location. Those belonging to Tokyo, they can work at home or at the office in a flexible manner. And also for the languages, chat tool, Slack, which is the main tool we are using, we can use a translation bot for communication. As for document tool, we mainly use Confluence, which also has a translation feature. And also, from the beginning, we may create documents in multiple languages. And in the meeting, if we need to have a real-time dialogue, there will be simultaneous translators available in Japanese, English, and Korean. As interpreters work together with us, we can have real-time communication. Now I'd like to talk about the issues we had. First of all, I'd like to talk about this in line with the timeline. In June 2019, at the LINE conference, LINE mini app concept was announced. And the next year, in 2020, in July 2020, it was officially launched. And afterwards, I joined in April 2022. It's been a little less than 2 years since it was launched, and it was expanding the service. And I didn't know what was going on before I joined, but right after I joined, this is the impression I had. So in short, it was a chaotic situation. Just like this child's room, there was no place to stand, and I thought I need to clean up and organize, and you couldn't find what you're looking for. And for your information, I'm not good at cleaning up a room. And this room was like my room when I was a child. I was always scolded by my parents, but I can't keep on doing that for my work. And when I organize issues in a specific term, this is what we have. Just like I introduced, multiple number of teams were responsible for planning and development, and many teams were responsible for not only Line Mini App and other deals. They always had backlogs, and each team has different processes and development cycles. For example, one team may adopt waterfall, the other agile. Therefore, we don't know what is the progress status at present. And this is about the issue we had. And from now on, I'd like to talk about the solutions. And first of all, this is about the general issue for the development of a product. This is how it works. By and large, planning, development, and QA. This is the order of making a progress, and then it's going to be released. First of all, I focused on planning phase and organize the flow. First of all, we had to create specifications. In order to implement the specifications, there were many things that I had to confirm in terms of legal, compliance, security. We have to confirm from various perspectives. Next, for development, and they have to assemble development and QA members for kickoff, and the objectives and the specifications for the plan were announced so that we can have a common understanding, and estimating efforts for development and QA. If estimation was over, we can adjust the schedule. That is the point when we can start development. As we organize the flow like this, planning members can understand what they were supposed to do prior to the development. Now, planning phase is organized. Next, putting aside the development and QA, I'd like to focus on release for now. As for release process, multiple teams are working involving global members. In order to avoid the gap in understanding, announcement, sharing, and checking were added. Prior to release, we have to share what is going to be released to the pertinent team. And the product manager is doing a final checking, and then we are going to release. And the fact that it was released was announced to relevant teams, and we will conduct QA in the production environment. And if there is no problems, release is over.
So the release phase is also resolved. So the remaining phases, development and QA, I would like to look at them. So development and QA are carried out by many teams. For example, the Line Mini App feature A is developed. Let's think about that case. To realize feature A, the three components, component A, B, C, upgrade are required. Then each component upgrade is carried by team A, B, and C respectively. So the three teams has its own development backlog. So it includes other product, the Line Mini App, other than Line Mini App. And also the release timing is also unique to each team. And also the release schedule is different. So the blue colored area is the backlog item related to the Line Mini App. And also the priority of items in this box is also different, and it is decided by each team. And so once the release timing is decided by each team, and as you can see here, timing is different. But as a Line Mini App, we want to have the same timing, like this blue line. And considering the situation of each team, I consult each team, and adjust the priorities. Then the timing is adjusted. Then the line mini app feature is completed. So there are so many processes and also the development cycles. So how to approach them? To newly define the new process is one way, but do we really do that? So here we don't take that approach. Understanding the situation of each individual team and creating the comprehensive process which can be applied to everyone requires a lot of effort and time. So we approach in this way. So the development process and cycle of each team is respected so they can continue it. Then, so as a line mini app, the overall progress is visualized. So concretely speaking, two things. So line, the BTS backtracking system, we use Jira. So we defined the Jira operation rule. And also the multiple BTS project merging and also the visualization solution is implemented. The first, I would like to talk about the BTS operation rule. So there are different types of the Jira tickets, and the usage of the each ticket type is clarified. So the ticket type has the hierarchical structure. So the epic is created per a product, and the necessary task is using the task ticket. And also the multiple epics get together by using the concept of initiative. So the ticket status workflow is also defined like this. At the planning suggestion stage, that is the backlog status, and when it go into the planning phase, it becomes in-plan status. Then after that, status is in design, and at the review phase, it becomes the in review. And development kickoff and also the estimation is done, and waiting for the dev start, it is the dev backlog, and during the development, it is in progress. Once the development is done, and QA phase is in QA, and after the QA, it becomes resolved, and release is completed, and the verification is done, then it becomes closed. And also the relevant component many BTS projects. So I would like to make a list of them. In each project, the operation rule is defined and carried out. So we respect that.
Next, I'd like to talk about merging and visualization of multiple BTS projects. Namely, Jira Advanced Roadmap was what we adopted. Advanced Roadmap was introduced. That way, we can visualize just like a Gantt chart, and the one in charge of planning was able to understand the status. This is the actual screenshot. For my explanation, this is a sample project I created. The one in orange, this is an initiative ticket. Line mini app feature is the name I put, and all the tickets related to the feature are attached to this. And under initiative, epic for each component is associated. Here, A, B, C, there are 3 component epic. For the epic ticket, this is the ticket for other projects, but this is belonging to one initiative. And there is a task ticket belonging to epic. In this case, component A has 3 tasks, component B 2 tasks, and component C 1 task. In the column in the middle, there are parameters in each ticket shown in the list. And you can customize the items and the ticket status, start and end of the day, and the owner are displayed. And there is a high feature filtering functionality available. You can narrow down and switch over sorting in a flexible manner. The one on the right in the screen, you can refer to plan and progress visually, just like the way you do in Gantt chart. By introducing advanced roadmap, you can refer to the progress of the development using one screen for multiple teams. It's easier to understand the status. And this is how we organize after the development. Last but not least, I'd like to talk about the result. For the past several months, this is the initiative we had, and I had an interview with team members. I had a pleasing comment. This is the comment which is indicating we had a good result and we have contributed to the development. And chaotic situation was resolved to some extent. Everything was scattered at the beginning in the room. It's getting organized now. And the children are taking initiative to clean up. It's good, isn't it? But is that all? Of course not. It's not over yet. And there is a never-ending story for process improvement. If you implement improvement plan, you have to review the result. Based on the review result, you can update a plan for improvement. And then you implement the plan again. You are getting feedback, and then you can identify next issue for continuous improvement. Lastly, this is the summary. There was a chaotic situation which you have to overcome, and then I organized the workflow for development. BTS operation rule was organized. And I merged and visualized multiple BTS projects for visualization. By so doing, it seems the situation has been improved, but it's never-ending story. We will continue improving day by day based on feedback. That's all. Thank you very much. This is Friday night. Thank you very much for your hard work. Please have a good weekend. Thank you very much for your attention. Mr. Ishizuka, thank you very much.
So from now on, we would like to start the plus talk session with the interviewer, and we want to deep dive the session content. We will entertain questions from audience as much as possible. So if you have a question, please post your question by using a question mark icon on the screen. Interviewer is Mr. Asao Fuji from Yahoo Japan. Mr. Fuji, could you introduce yourself, please? Thank you. I am Fuji from Yahoo Japan. So I do the PMO and planning manager of the top page. Thank you for today. Thank you. So Fuji-san, so listening the presentation, do you have any questions? Yes. I am responsible a large-scale project, which is a Yahoo Japan top page. And you showed the photo of the chaotic kids' room, and you actually decluttered it with the 6 months, and I am amazed. So I want to know about how to do that more. So you talked about the workflow in the very beginning. So from the planning to release, you organized the workflow. So how did you develop the workflow? So there is a company-wide guideline. So that cannot be applied as they are to the product all the product. So you should customize that and create own workflow. So based on the company-wide guideline, and we created a workflow for Line Mini app. So you have a fundamental guideline, and you customize it for a Line Mini app. So the company-wide guideline is really helpful, right? Yes. So I am struggling to develop a good workflow, but I understand you have a company-wide guideline. And the second question is that, so you talked about the BTS, the Jira. I think many audience use the Jira, and I think there are many people using Jira. So to organize Jira tickets, do you have any specific advice or tips to use Jira tickets? Yes, unorganized projects, if I look at that, there is no hierarchical concept of the task tickets, and the granularity is varied, and there are many task tickets at the same level. So under such a circumstance, it is difficult to organize a task. So epic or initiative using a hierarchical structure, it is better to organize the tickets. And also the granularity of the task tend to be varied. So the consistent granularity should be important. Yes. So based on my experience, the huge volume of tickets are accumulated, and looking through them is also requiring a lot of work. So depending on the granularity, the tickets are classified. Yes. So the third question is related to the advanced roadmap. So can you explain the product? So originally, we used the WBS Gantt as a plugin, but the third-party plugin is not easy to use. But the advanced roadmap, this is the Russia official tool, so it is a high affinity with Jira, and also it runs very smoothly. It is easy to use it. So the Jira projects, so you can actually compile them, the multiple projects, and you can view it in one dashboard. Yes, it sounds like convenient. So you said, so there are many people using the roadmap to communicate with the stakeholders. So do you have any advice or tips to create the roadmap? Well, advanced roadmap. So getting information from multiple tickets and displayed on one single screen is convenient, but how to filter the tickets? It is possible to use the Jira filter, but so create the necessary query and do the proper filtering. That is a bit difficult. So if all the tickets are displayed, it becomes chaotic. So you have to filter the tickets and identify the important, and they are presented on the dashboard.
Okay, and next question. You mentioned there are multiple locations where you work remotely across countries. And when you have a remote communication, remote meeting, in order for you to have a smooth remote communication, what are the points you have to be careful about? In terms of the distance, as I said earlier, most of them are in Asia, and there is not much time difference. And also during COVID, it's a common sense that you may work remotely. Even in Japan, you may work at home and you may be far away, but you don't have to be concerned about that. But there is a barrier of language to some extent. There is simultaneous interpreter working in a meeting, but even without the document, we can have a conversation with you like this if it's between Japanese. But if we communicate through an interpreter, it's sometimes difficult to have a common understanding. So I have to prepare a document ahead of time that should make easier for me to proceed. And also interpreters also refer to the document to avoid misunderstanding. So rather than having a meeting right away, you may prepare by creating a document, and you may have a communication using a document. So even for remote communication, you can have a smooth communication. Yes, thank you very much. Oh, I see some questions from audience. I'd like to read this. Task, epic, initiative, granularity. Could you elaborate on that? Could you tell me how you are dividing? In terms of a specific case, it's difficult to say so. If we decided to develop a certain functionality, I talked about Epic. Epic will be utilized. There are various tasks required for that. In terms of development, you may need some portion of tasks. So you can create that with a task. And then that may be the end of the story. But for Line Mini App, as an example, there may be Epic for that team. And using other components, Epic may be developed if the size is a little bit bigger. And Epic developed by that team, and Epic by Mini App. And you can't associate with those epics, but the initiative is utilized so that we can aggregate those epics. I see. So you are leveraging epic and then also initiative, which is on top. I learned a lot, thank you, because we could utilize initiative like that. And also, you showed the child's room, which you cleaned up. Mr. Shizuka, what are the challenges and issues you'd like to tackle in the future? Yes, it's been half a year since I joined the company. There is another person who is also working as a co-worker. And the two of us are working together by organizing tickets. But we started an operation. So in terms of the visibility at present, there may be a difference in terms of understanding. That is what we have to work so that everybody has the same understanding. So you're going to organize, and then you should disseminate the information, and so you would like to tackle the process should be applied. Yes.